Season 17 of LFM is about to approach its final week, and some are saying it is going to be one of the final seasons of ACC, with the game now being dead in the eyes of many. However, I strongly disagree with this. I think ACC still has a lot of life left in it, but I also believe that LFM should make some changes for Season 18 to give the platform the base it needs for the rest of 2025. So in this video, I'm going to go through the 3 key areas that I would like to see some changes with in ACC and LFM. And if you're a current LFM player, I have a small message for you at the end of this video, and I'd also like to know, do you agree with these points, and what else could we add to this list of changes to give our platform the best chance at a successful 2025? Let's dive in. First off, let's talk about some tweaks I'd like to see to the daily races. Now currently we have a 25-minute sprint race and then a longer 45-minute race with a pit stop. And they're scheduled in a way where you can go back to back, alternating between those 2 races. And herein lies the problem. If your focus is only on one of those events for the week, you are left with big gaps between those sessions, particularly the 45-minute race, where you can have up to 40 minutes between the end of one event and the start of the next. So my proposal is this: shorten the qualifying session of the 25-minute race to make the whole event fit into a 45-minute window, and add a bit more race time to the longer race to fill the majority of a 90-minute time slot. Not only would it add a bit more intensity to the sprint race where you'd only have one flying stint to set a time, but also add a little bit more of a strategy call with the longer race with a bit more race time to play with. What it would mean for scheduling is that if you were just focusing on the longer race, you could do those back to back, and a lot more frequency in the sprint race as well, which allows you to simply jump in the rig when you're able to and get into a race a little bit faster. Now ultimately, the daily races are the bread and butter for LFM, so I certainly can't see a negative side to having more of these races happening more frequently. Second up, let's talk about the Enduros. The Sunday Endurance race had a change for Season 17, and that was the introduction of multi-class GT3 and GT4. Now it's safe to say that this change was not well received by LFM players. It made sense for LFM to do this with the apparent increase in popularity with multi-class through the likes of Le Mans Ultimate and iRacing, but it's quite clear that this just does not work with LFM and ACC. Yes, in Split 1 you had enough GT4 drivers sign up to give that multi-class action, but in the lower splits it was simply GT3 only, and only small 24-25 car fields. So it makes a lot of sense to go back to a GT3 only category for these Sunday endurance races and aim to make the grids as big as possible for these events. Yes, keep the different track for the enduro versus the long race during the week, and keep those solo drives if that's what people are after, but back to GT3 and back to big fields I think will be the right direction for these Sunday enduros. And thirdly, I want to talk about the season special events. This is where the LFM team can be creative and really put on some really cool races. But the issue I've been finding is that these events pop up very late notice. Even as a player who checks the LFM website very frequently, I often see some of the very cool special events pop up very last minute, and often missing sign-ups or simply unable to organise my life in a way that allows me to actually do these. It's a real shame because some of them are actually very special and would be a lot of fun, but I think we need to get to a point where they are planned a bit more in advance, communicated a little bit better, and promoted in a way where they get the attendance and recognition that they deserve. In terms of events, I really like the new 4-class multi-class races that they've done the last few weeks at Spa, and I'd love to see a 4 to 6 round Legacy Cup Championship run through the season as well. But again, it's just got to be planned and communicated well with us players, and if you're unsure LFM, put some polls out and ask the audience. I'm sure everyone out there has some really great ideas. Let me know your special event ideas in the comments. But with that all said, I think there's one overarching comment that sort of sums all of these changes up. And that is for LFM to go back to what is strong about ACC. There's no point trying to reinvent the wheel so late in this game's life, and we have to admit that ACC is an end-of-life game at this point. But it doesn't mean it cannot be a good time until its final days. So we know what works, we know what tracks are popular, focus on putting on races and filling up those grids, and not trying to put on lots of variety of tracks which are ultimately just not going to get the same number of drivers. Now, if you are an LFM player, a message for you as well. If you are enjoying this sim, then please continue to do so in Season 18, and don't be put off too much by the comments of others saying that ACC is a dead game. I certainly think there's lots of life left in this platform and lots of new players coming on to LFM for the first time in 2025. But the platform only remains positive while its players do. And remember that this is our hobby. It's our escape from the madness of the world, and the world is a very crazy place at the moment. So let's focus together on making the on-track action and the platform in general a really fun and enjoyable place. Give each other a bit more space on track, be kind in the practice servers, and speak nicely to each other in the chat when things don't go too well. I think if we all work hard at this, ACC and LFM can be really strong for the next few seasons, and we can give this game the final send-off that it deserves for 2025. I'm really looking forward to continuing the racing in Season 18. Let me know in the comments if you agree with some of these changes or not, and add to that list what else do you want to see LFM doing for Season 18 as well. As always guys, race hard, stay positive. We'll see you again in another video. Cheers.